Hey, how you doing? Good? I'm glad. Welcome back to my channel. This is a day late because I didn't pre-film because of life, and then everything got corrupted and it made me sound like a chipmunk, and it's exciting. So it's Tuesday for Makeup and Myths Mondays. So happy Tuesday. We're gonna play with this a little bit. We're gonna play with the format. I've got my new mirror here. And let that do its thing, right? So we can play with this just a little bit. Who knows what everything's gonna look like. I'm gonna bring you guys in a little bit closer for a few of these shots. And so like, subscribe, share to the world. I would really, really appreciate it if you guys just gave me a like down below, get me a little bit more exposure. Today we are talking about Zeus and only some of his children and kind of what their journey looks like, and not really their journey, but what their conception looked like, because it's fascinating. And in my pre-film one, basically I get stuck on a word, so maybe take a shot every time I say fascinating. So, all right, let's jump in. Okay, so basically with any Greek mythology, most Greek mythology, you need to know two things. One, Zeus cannot keep it in his pants. Like, seriously, he wants it, he goes after it, that's what happens. And you know, that's just how he does it. That's pretty fantastic for him. I'm using the best Life palette by Violet Voss because you can still get it, and I thought, let me use a palette that you guys can use. So there's that. Okay, so the second thing that you really need to know about Greek mythology is that he's married to Hera, and Hera does not put up with his debauchery and his infidelity well. However, she does not really punish him. She mostly goes after his lovers and or their children. So there's that. And then today we're mostly focusing on those children of his who are gods. So that's what we're focusing on today. So the first person that we're focusing on today, kind of sort of is his. There's really only one instance that I could find that references that she is actually Zeus's, and that is Aphrodite, goddess of love, or also known as Venus. So that's the picture that I actually have. That's her Roman name. Anyways, so the only place that I could really find this reference was in the Iliad, where basically Aphrodite is trying to help her son out and save her son, but she gets wounded. I think she gets an arrow through the hand, Robin Hood style, Kevin Costner, you know. She gets an arrow through the hand, and her mother, Dione, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrect, basically tends to her wounds, and it talks about that she's Dione and Zeus's child. However, so there's that. However, the most common of Aphrodite, birth of Aphrodite is, do you guys remember in the last one, Uranus, right? And he got his junk, you know, snipped off. Well, the blood from that went into the sea and created sea foam, and from that sea foam comes Aphrodite. Yep, the goddess of love from the blood of junk. Yeah. All right, the next ones that we're going to talk about are kind of the two that are the most loved / hated in the Lower Olympus realm. Now, I don't know the artist, the creator of this, and her grudge against Apollo. I'm not going to give anything away, but anyways, he is the god of so many things. Love, poetry, music, not love, sorry. Poetry, music, disease, because that makes sense. I don't write it. It's fine. And then his sister Artemis is the goddess of the hunt and wildlife and basically, you know, everything out in the wilderness. So that's them. So they are the product of Zeus and Leto. Yeah, it's Leto, all right. Yeah. So Leto was a goddess, Titaness, one of the two. It's fine. There's not a ton about her, but she was worshipped. But anyways, Zeus saw, he wanted, and so he took. And Hera was pissed. She was not happy about it. So what did she do? She made it so nothing on the mainland, nowhere on the mainland, and no islands would even take Leto, which means she can't give birth. So she's like roaming around looking for a place to give birth, but she can't because the land literally, like, I don't know if it like physically like threw her back, but was like, no, no. So she couldn't go anywhere, but finally she finds an island, but it's not actually an island because it's not embedded to the seafloor. I don't know. It's called Delos. I don't know. Anyways, so she starts to give birth, and she gives birth to Artemis first. And Artemis describes this as being painless. Like, it's not really painful for her mother, which, awesome. That's fantastic. So Artemis is born first. I can't say the same thing about Apollo's birth. Now, after Artemis is born, Leto is in labor with Apollo for 9 days. It's pretty exciting, 9 days. So I'm just wetting this brush a little bit so I can get a little more payoff with the colors. So 9 days. And it's painful. This one is not painless like our girl Artemis. And the goddess Rhea is there to witness. They're not really there to help, but everyone's kind of there to witness, right? Not everyone, because Hera, obviously not there. Why would she be? Is there to witness, but none of them help. You want to know who helps her deliver Apollo? Her 9-day-old Artemis. Because Artemis grew up really quick and was a midwife to her mother. Now, growing up very quickly is not a theme that's unheard of as the gods go. I mean, that is actually a theme. They just pop up as humans, fully formed. So there's that. So yeah, so that's how they came to be. That's their story. Leto basically is hunted the rest of her life, and Hera keeps bringing new monsters to basically torture and like chase her. And Artemis and Apollo really stick by their mom and just help her out and save her a bunch of times. So yay. All right, just cleaned up around my eyes just a little bit. When I said I was going to bring you guys in close, I lied. It's fine. I forgot, because really the only place you would want that for would be my eyes, so my bad. Anyways, let's go on to the next one of the gods. We're really focusing on his god children, and that would be Aries. Now, definitely some Wonder Woman vibes here. So Aries doesn't have really a bad origin story. He is one of the children of Hera and Zeus. Now they've got other ones, but he's the one that I wanted to focus on, simply because he's got such a rivalry with one of his sisters. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But Aries is the god of war, but he's more of like the physical brutality part of war. So people, yeah, they worshipped him and all of that jazz, but only when they were in a war. They weren't just like, make us a war. least not that I could find. So, but he has a super huge beef with his sister, in particular, Athena. Pop. So Athena is probably one of the most recognized, worshipped goddesses of all of Greek mythology. She just is. Okay. So she is the goddess of war as well, but she looks after more of the strategic end of it and the wisdom of war, right? So the wisdom of war, but you know what I mean, right? Like the part of war that is the strategic part. So it's not just brute force, it's the military planning part. That's what she's more known for. So they don't get along. Her story is that she is, oh, by the way, all my Harry Potter nerds, her Roman name, Minerva. Ah, I love McGonagall. McGonagall's such a BA. I'm just saying. Anyways, so is Athena. So anyways, I don't know. It's fine. It's totally fine. Oh, I need to go get shade matched again. Ugh. Anyways, so Athena is the product of Zeus and Metis. So Metis is actually a Titaness, and she's the one who gave Zeus the poison that made Kronos throw up his siblings, right? You remember that in the last one? If you haven't, I'll link it down below for you guys so you guys can go check that out after this one, right? Watch this all the way through, then go check that one out if you haven't seen it. Anyway, so Metis is actually the one that gives him the poison, and they've got kind of a love-hate relationship, right? He likes her, right? She's good looking. He's a fan, because Zeus is a fan of literally everybody, and he gets her pregnant. But there is a prophecy, shocking, that Metis is going to produce a child. In some of the mythology, it's her second child that will eventually overthrow him. But you know how Zeus is, and this whole lineage of his father and his father's father. They don't do well with those kind of prophecies. They just don't do well. I put way too much concealer on. It's fine. It's totally fine. Anyway, so they don't do well with this kind of prophecy. So what does he do? He turns Metis into a fly and swallows her whole. Cool, bro. So, swallowing this Titaness whole, he thinks, problem's over. Ha ha ha. Nope. He starts to get a splitting headache, which, in my opinion, totally deserved. I mean, not just for this, but for like everything he eventually does, because he's crazy. Because he thinks he can do anything, because he's the king of the gods, which, I mean, if anyone's going to think they can do anything, it will be the king of the gods, right? Anyways. So he gets this splitting headache. He can't sleep, he can't eat. It's just disturbing his god life. He's not okay with it. So what does he do? He goes to Hephaestus, who is fascinating in himself. He's fascinating as well. Take a shot. Hephaestus, who is the weapons maker for the gods. That's who he is. If you've seen Hercules, bam, he's the one who like throws Zeus's thunderbolts. That's Hephaestus. Although probably not a great depiction of him. It's fine. So he asks Hephaestus for help. I'm going to do my eyebrows. I'll be right back. And I'm back. They gave me some trouble. Anyway, so Zeus asks for Hephaestus' help, and he either makes him an axe or a hammer, depending on which one you read. And he basically hits Zeus on the head and cracks his skull open, which is, neat. It's weird. And out pops Athena. Now, not just pops out Athena, but like pops out fully grown with armor, with her weapons, like everything. So definitely that theme is a thing. So out pops Athena. And she ends up being just one of Zeus's absolute favorite kids. You know, she's got a city named after her. She pisses off Poseidon, which is always fun. And yeah, just an all-around BA. That's Athena. Okay. Now we're going to talk about one of my favorite gods. Now, didn't really know much about him until I started listening to the podcast Myths Baby. I listen to her on Spotify. Sometimes. I haven't been keeping up. It's fine. It's totally fine. But Dionysus. He's fascinating. Again, take a shot. He really is, and his followers and just the story that he has is just amazing. I mean, it really is. It's just fascinating. Another shot. But most of us, at least me, I was introduced to this character, this god, in Fantasia. Right? This guy. But that's not the Dionysus that the Greeks knew. The Greeks knew this young, charismatic, like, good-looking dude. Bam! This guy. Anyway, so he's the god of wine and the vine, and so basically millennials right now, he's their god. Because we all need some extra wine in our lives. Basically, I don't know. My computer just glitched a little bit, so I don't know if you guys can see that. We'll see in the replay. I don't know. Anyways, so he is the product of Zeus and Semele. Now, Semele is an interesting character because she's one of the only instances where it is absolutely, she's in love with Zeus. So it's not like it's he saw her and was like, she's mine and she didn't want it. Very much she was a willing participant in this affair. So they saw each other very often. She bragged about it, which, if she knows anything about Hera, is dumb. So dumb. Anyways, so Hera is pissed. I would be pissed. Not only are you sleeping with my husband, but you're bragging about it? No. Stupid girl. Stupid girl. Anyways, so she's bragging about it. And Hera comes down and disguises herself as an old hag. Snow White vibes. And is like, no, this guy's lying to you. Have you seen him in his god form? Like, there's no way. This person is just lying to you. It's probably a trickster. It's not Zeus. So, and there's a little bit of when did this happen? Semele asks Zeus for a boon. So if you don't know what a boon is, it's basically an unbreakable vow for my Harry Potter fans out there. It's a boon. So, good Lord. Okay. So it's a boon. So he grants that to her because he wants to basically make his love feel good. He wants to do what she wants. And the very first thing she asks for, the only thing she asks for, is, I want to see you in your godlike form. Please, 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 please. And he, of course, does not want this to happen because if you don't know, if a mortal sees a god in their god-like form, they die. Hera knew this. Zeus obviously knows this. And he begs Semele, ask me anything else. I will give you literally anything else. Please don't ask this of me. You won't survive it. He tells her, you're going to die. And she's like, no, I want to see. Please, I just want to see you in your real form. I have to know I'm not being played for a fool. So Zeus does it. And of course, what happens? Instant flames. She's engulfed. She dies. However, she's already pregnant with Dionysus at this point, so he takes the unborn child and sews him into his thigh. No, I said that. I did. I said the sews into his thigh. That happens. Yep. Sews the baby into his thigh. And then he's born. Cool, bro. That happens, apparently. Apparently that's something that the gods can do. But do you see why I like Dionysus so much? Like, that's an awesome story. I mean, it's not awesome for Semele, but dude. All right, so let's talk about our next god. And these are not even all the god children, just so you guys are aware. The next one is a fan favorite. He's a trickster god. He's the god of travelers and merchants and things. And that would be Hermes. And if you watched the Hercules movie from Disney, you gotta love him, right? So Hermes is the product of Zeus and Maya. I think I said that wrong. Well, she is the product of Apollo and Pleione. Pleione is that. So the two titans. And she has done everything she can to stay away from the gods with good reason, right? Like, her parents were punished. Why would she want to have anything to do with the gods? Well, Zeus is like, that's not how this works. Sorry. It's not how it works. I want you. I get to have you. So deal with it. Screw you, Zeus. Screw you. Just saying. So anyway, so she has Hermes. And Hermes is such a trickster. And this is probably a story for another time, but I'm going to mention it now. Like, within one day of being born, he steals a cow from Apollo, making an enemy, just for a little bit though. Yep, he stole a cow. And at first Zeus is like, nah, he's a day old. And then Hermes like, yeah, I did it. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. I'm sorry. I'm on TikTok a lot. I can't help it. I'm sorry. So that's Hermes. So last, and certainly not least, not last of like the children, but last of who we're going to talk about, certainly not least, and one of my favorites, especially if you are reading Lore Olympus, you know just how wonderful she is Persephone. Now, Persephone is the goddess of spring, and then eventually the queen of the underworld. I'm not giving anything away. This is ancient history. Other than that, there's not a ton about her. I mean, she has some fleeting things here and there in stories, but there's not a ton about her, which I think is why Lore Olympus works so well. So she is the product of Zeus and Demeter. And I'm going to do its own episode on Persephone and Demeter and all that fun stuff. But that's Persephone's lineage. But that's it. I mean, that's really all it is about her. Not a lot. And that's it, guys. Those are the children that I wanted to talk about today of Zeus. There are many, obviously. There are many more than this. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was really fun to do. I'm sorry it's a day late and $1 short. It's fine. But please like, subscribe, share this on Facebook. I would really appreciate any support you guys can give me. Anyone who likes makeup or myths, please just share this with them and be like, this. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. Maybe one of the heroes. Maybe I'll do Persephone and Demeter and that whole story. But go check out Lore Olympus. Go check out Myths Baby, the podcast I've been listening to. It's great. You guys, it's just fascinating stuff. Take another shot. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, thank you so much for all the support. Like, subscribe, share to the world. Drive safe. Make good choices. Bye, guys.